Here's the real reason why so many small business owners aren't getting the results that they want, and it's actually not their fault. They're just taking advice from the wrong people. Let me explain. So here's something that you have to understand. There are so many people who are putting out courses and programs, and they are playing a much bigger game than you and I. Let me explain. So last week, there was a woman in my $7 program who posted her power content video inside the Facebook group. And for those of you guys who don't know, my power content strategy is my $5 a day top of funnel strategy. And a very smart guy responded. He said, I don't agree with Laurel's $5 a day ad strategy because you can get any ad to work at a low budget. Let's put a pin in what he just said right there. Again, he said, you can get ads to work at a very low budget, but once you start scaling to $500 a day, $1,000 a day, $3,000 a day, it starts to break. Okay, so let's put a pin on what he said about you could pretty much get any ad to convert at a lower budget, because that's good news for you. Okay, here's why context matters. Okay, most of you guys who are watching this video right now are not at a level where you need to be spending $500, $1,000, $3,000 a day. My business is over $2 million, and I'm still utilizing my $5 a day strategy because I have not needed to scale. I am playing a much smaller game than so many of the gurus out there. But here's the thing, a lot of you guys would probably happily take home what I am taking home every single month because I am playing a smaller game. As a matter of fact, there's so many people in my inbox that try to convince me that I am not making enough money. And so I put it to the test, and I actually sat down with this guy, and he was like, you need a VA and you need another coach and you're going to get more time back. And I was like, okay, well, tell me how much time I'm going to have to spend doing this and how much money is this. And while my business made more revenue, I was going to have to spend more time each week, and I was actually going to take less home. So more revenue doesn't always mean better. My wife and I, we run the business. We don't have employees really. And so, our friend Suzanne helps us out. But other than that, it is ran by her and I, and we don't have a lot of overhead. And again, over the last 5 years, we, have taken home over $2 million. The last $1 million was actually made in the last 14 months. That's pretty good. A lot of you guys are like, wow, that's really good. So here's how this story is going to come together. So the guy in my Facebook group who was saying that, he needs to spend $500, $1,000, $3,000 a day, otherwise his ad strategy breaks. That is completely true for people who have high overhead. I was on a call with Billy Jean the other day, and he said the same thing. He was like, I can't start my ads at $5 or $10 a day because I've got over 6 figures in expenses every single month. My ads need to be scalable and profitable from day one. Most of you guys here, that strategy is not going to be realistic for you. How many of you guys can just spend $500 a day on ads and let them run for 5 days at $500 a day? I will say this, I am not even running ads at scale. Think about that. My business in the last 14 months has made $1 million, and I still spend the low budget ads. How many of you guys would love to take that home? We have to look at the entire context. Most of you guys, remember I told you guys to put a pin in what we were saying, what he said a while ago, that it's easy to get ads to be profitable at a low ad budget. That is good news for people like you and me. That is why my $5 a day ad strategy continues to work for thousands of coaches, consultants, service providers, small business owners. It doesn't matter. Most of us are playing a smaller game. There are so many people in my audience that don't want to grow a company. If you just want to have the lifestyle freedom, my wife and I can do whatever we want. We can go travel. We work 3 days a week and 4 hours a day and take home way more than we ever made in our 9-to-5 jobs. That is freedom. And so we have to be careful on who we're getting our advice from. This is a situation where everybody's right, but everybody's wrong too. It all depends on the context. And so I would love to continue this conversation with you guys in the comments, because I'm curious. There's so many people who have taken programs that are just completely wrong for what they're trying to accomplish. Most of you guys only need my $7 program to learn how to get clients in your coaching business. You know, a lot of my clients are working 2 hours a day. They're spending less than $500 a month in ad spend, and they're making $10, $11, $15,000 a month. Most of you guys would probably be pretty happy with that. A lot of you guys aren't wanting to build a 7-figure business. Like, who wants that? I mean, some of you guys might. You might want to build a company, but that's completely different. But you have to start somewhere. You have to start with cash flow. You know, strategies that cost $500 a day. Yeah, Billie Jean can afford that. Some of these bigger gurus can afford that. I will say this, I don't want to afford $500 a day to spend in ads, honestly. Like, I would just rather strategically use ads to get more conversations, and that's the bulk of what my strategy does, right? $5 ads gets you conversations, because conversations are the fastest path to cash. So let's continue this conversation in the comments. I would love to know your thoughts.